Welcome to the Music Ed Matters podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Emily Williams Birch, and this podcast, it exists for you. Whether you're a music lover, an educator, a choir member, each week we bring guests to the show to help explore what matters in music. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to the show. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Perform International. Hello and welcome to the Music Ed Matters podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Emmy Birch, and today we are talking to my new friend. We're going to call her Margrét Juliana because her last name is so cool. Margrét is from Iceland, and in Iceland, your last name is a combination of your dad's name plus the word daughter, tóttir. So it's Sigurdardottir. But Margrét will say it for you so you can hear it exactly correctly. Margrét's going to talk to you today about this really cool platform that she's created called Moombix. And it is a community building collection of resources for figuring out how to learn all sorts of things. I'm really excited for you to hear the story of how Margrét became an entrepreneur and how Moombix will be a resource for you, for your students, for your friends, for your family. If you want to learn sound design, production, guitar, piano, voice, whatever the thing is, Moombix has something for you. But even more so, it's a community. And it was designed by our new friend Margrét from Iceland, who also was a backup singer and chamber choir member for the artist Björk. So, without further ado, this is Margrét. Today on the Music Ed Matters podcast, we are talking to one of my new friends way over in Iceland, Margrét Sigurdardottir. Oh, I left out a syllable. Sigurdardottir. No, I did it worse. Can you say your last name, Margrét?
Sigurdardottir.
Sigurdardottir.
Yeah,
I'm getting closer.
But I added the middle name Juliana especially for people who have problems with pronouncing my name abroad.
So you have added the middle name in there too. The Icelandic language is so beautiful, but such a challenge.
Yeah. Oh, well, what can I say? We try to keep up our barriers. No.
Wait, you have to tell the listeners. So who are you and how did you get into this wonderful world that we are in with music?
I think I was just born into it. My parents were, my father was in a band, and my whole family, we lived in the basement of my grandparents' house, and they played music all the time, classical music on the upper floor, took me to classical music concerts, and then on the lower floor we listened to Jimi Hendrix and
cool.
Disco. Rock and disco. So there was no way, not going in that direction, at least in some parts of it. But then I started playing by ear with my grandmother when I was 4. And then I took both this academic route and the classic route, and I also played in band myself. And that was my route in the music, so to speak.
What was your instrument of choice?
Well, the piano was there, but I'm a singer. That's what I consider my primary instrument, the voice. But and I finished postgraduate studies at the Royal Academy of Music in London. Then I returned back and I started sitting at the piano, playing again, singing my own music or jazz or whatever comes to mind.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, what did you study at the Royal Conservatory?
I did finish postgraduate studies in classical music singing.
Okay.
So I was focusing on Baroque and contemporary music, and some opera as well. And I did have a role in an opera in Cork. There was this Wedding of Figaro, and I had the role of Barbarina. And it was quite obvious to me at the time that was not my route.
Okay.
I didn't feel like being in a suitcase going between productions singing opera music. I mean, I love the classical music and I love opera when it's good, but it's a strict protocol. You could say that.
Okay, so after you went to Cork and were in that opera, what did you do from there?
I was singing. I did some singing gigs in Iceland and with Icelanders. I performed with Björk, among others. Was singing with her in she had this a cappella album, Medulla, and I sang with her in some concerts in France and also in the UK and in Iceland as well. So, you know, and then I saw that as my route, and then I returned to Iceland and you know, suddenly there was a financial crash, and I had a daughter, and I had a living to make somehow, one way or the other, and then I became an entrepreneur. So
that's so much fun. Singing for Björk, how cool was that? Did you go to some really awesome venues in that process?
Yeah, well, we sang live performance at the Canal Bleu in Paris. That was really cool, and we sang in the UK also, and in a radio at the BBC radio. Live performance there as well. It was just the most cool was just working with her because she is just amazing. She's so creative and nice, and it was just a very, very generous experience, I have to say.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so then you have kids, you do the whole mom thing, and now you're in your entrepreneur era. So tell us about Moombix. Moombix. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Moombix is my second startup. The first one was called Mozilla. That was a musical game for kids, and I kind of somehow this happened one way or the other. I was I was suddenly in that place after some other gigs before, and I had never been in computers. I've never been in gaming or anything, but suddenly I was there, and I think I was one of the first women to start a gaming studios in Iceland. Now there's tons of them, of course. Things happen quite fast. Then that game went global. It was like in the app stores, app of the day, and Nordic. We won the Nordic AdTech Awards, and then I exited from there in 2020, and then I started immediately working on this concept, which is now, you know, taking off.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about this game for a second before we go on to the new project. So it was an app of the day. Is it still around, and what does it do, and why did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, that idea was I wanted children to learn to read music like they learn to read anything else. I had been myself, like I was saying before, this musician who was playing by ear, and then I was also doing academic, sight reading and all of that. And I always felt there was this didn't connect until I was 16 when I properly learned to play, or learned to read music, like in a very strict course that I did. And then I thought, okay, this should be implemented much earlier, so that those who are reading music can do it faster and take the music off the sheet, if you could say so.
Yeah.
And so that was the idea with Mozilla to start it. And there's a lot of people still using that game, yes. And then for various reasons, I decided to go. And I exited, was bought out of that company in 2020. And here we are.
So now you have this new idea, and where did it start?
Yeah, that is, you start by gathering team, and then you gather some money, and you start working on it. It's all a process. It takes a bit of time to get this sort of thing going. And it's also Moombix is a marketplace for live online music lessons, so that people. I think of this as a solution for musicians who are touring, and because musicians don't get any pay anymore for their music, that's just like cents and not dollars, but also for people to have access to music education. I was living in London the first years after I finished my studies at the Royal Academy. I was commuting maybe for half an hour to teach siblings in the other side of town piano lessons for an hour, and then I had to go to another place. So it was much more time spent commuting than actually teaching. And this makes music education expensive, and it makes it difficult to find teachers who are the right people. And once you find them, you're kind of committed to them because they made so much effort to get to your place. And so I want this to be more flexible. I want people to be able to find teachers that suit them well, and try out a few that they can choose someone who likes the same music as they do, who teaches the right level. There's many things that have to fit. And also for grown-ups to have access to music education. And at the same time, we have the musicians who can then use their skills, whether they are singing in Cork or if they're playing concert with the London Symphony Orchestra or in a band on Wembley or whatever. There's lots of people who both want to share their skills and also who want to earn some money from their talent and hard work.
So this is a great idea. And it starts with the people that you have on the platform, the marketplace. So where are you finding your artists, your musicians for the marketplace?
Well, we just went traditional tech, just social media marketing on, YouTube, Google, Facebook. It's just the classical way. And we're starting with TikTok. So everywhere we try to find, and these engines are actually quite powerful now. You just, you set your criteria and they find the people who like the stuff that you're offering.
That's awesome.
But it's just cost money. So that's where we are mainly challenged. What we do is finding the money so that we can make this happen in very simplistic way, of course.
So if someone is interested in checking out the platform, they're thinking, okay, I'd really like to find a teacher to help me. What are the steps? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, they go online. They press Moombix, moombix.com. And there they, just like Airbnb, you just find you filter out the teachers that are teaching what you want to learn. And you book a lesson with them, check if they're available, and you can talk to them. We have a messenger, and then you have your lessons. We remind you of your lesson, and you have the platform is also a learning platform. So the teacher can prepare the lesson, they can plan the lesson, they can share the music and make notation and share videos, and it's a filing system. So the whole thing is there.
It's like a one-stop shop. So did you start when you had this idea? Did you start by designing the website first, or did you have early adopters that came on? What was your entrepreneurial process?
Yeah, it's very interesting that I like that you ask this question, because when you're an entrepreneur, you get people on board, then you start developing things, and they go in certain, there's a thought process, and then there's the action process, and then you test it, and you try it again, and this is it's a long process, but it's very efficient because you have the numbers. You can always go back to the numbers when you're in tech. That's the beauty of this industry. But I was just finding my original design a few weeks ago. I was just, somewhere buried in my computer. And it was actually pretty much the same as we ended up with.
That never happens.
No, I mean, I probably wouldn't put that exactly online as it is, but yeah, I think my previous experience also from what I was doing before, you know what you're doing, but this has to go through. It's the devil is in the details in this also. So yeah.
So this is so cool. Okay, mooobix.com takes you to the
MBI.
Moom. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So this takes you to the Airbnb style filter system. And what are all the different types of filters that you can look for?
Well, you look for instrument, but you can also learn DJing or production or publishing or performance. So we kind of, anything music related. Our dream is for this all to be available in our platform. And also the genres, and if you're a beginner so that's our goal, for this to be like an all-round music club almost.
Yeah, I love that it's not just like, here's how to play your instrument or here's how to sing. It's so much more. It's the whole scope of the art.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also, like here in Iceland, Björk is a good example, or not, she's a leading example, if you could say, that I think it's, what is interesting with the music scene here is that it's very cross what do you say, categories, cross styles.
Yeah, cross genres.
Genres, yeah, exactly. That's the word. You have, like in her music throughout her career, she's used classical musicians, like in, I think, most of her works, and electro music. And then you have also vice versa. You have people, in my music department here in Iceland, when I was studying, we were studying together people who are now in some of the most famous bands, and they have Anna Thorvaldsdottir, who's a famous classical composer today. Víkingur Heiðar is a famous pianist today, but then you also have composers who are composing music that is really groundbreaking, with mix of contemporary style, electro music. It's a very hot pot, I find here, that this has been boiling for the last decades.
So what is your goal with the platform in the next 3, 5, 10 years? Where do you see it going?
Well, I hope that Moombix will take a lead in this. I want this to be a platform, the go-to platform for everyone who wants to learn music. Those who are curious, who are beginners. I want this to be a place where you feel like you can go and you can maybe start with a video course, and then you will find a teacher that you like. I hope that you can also find other musicians to work with and make a band with, I want this to be a live and boiling platform. That's my hope. For
community. You're building a community, exactly. And not just here, go learn this, but it's a learning community where you can check out everything.
Exactly, and this is so much needed today. I think people are going to their computers and they are alone. They're talking to computers as in programs. Everything is automated, but we are starting to lose the human to human part, and we are facilitating that with Moombix.
I love it. And so often students will ask, like, how do I learn this or where do I learn that? And they're kind of free-ranging YouTube, and you never know what you're going to find. So what's the quality standard? How are you ensuring a certain level of excellence or authenticity, or how do you confirm that the people on your site that they're studying with are the best?
Well, we are just, as of now, we are talking to them, the teachers that come in. We are getting them, trying to get a personal contact with them ourselves. We are, of
like
course,
an interview.
Yeah, we are starting to do that now, and we are also, ratings and reviews are always a strong factor. I think people trust it. If there's a lot of people who tell you that this person is okay or very good, and leave reviews, and you can read the reviews and see what they say they're offering is reflected in their performance. I think the more the community grows, and you have a news feed and them sharing their music, and you get to know them through their music performance as well. So I think that is part of it as well, and so that's our contribution to the standard. But I think, like in all communities, you have to let the beast go wild. You can't really tame people either too much. You have to allow this to mature also.
I love that idea. So there's like a little bit of a framework, but also the space for creativity and like an organic growth.
Exactly.
I love this. Okay, so how can my listeners get involved? How can we support you in this project?
Just go on Moombix and check out the teachers, see if you can find anyone you like, And if not, then please let us know. And try it out. Be brave, I think a lot of people have their guitars gathering dust somewhere in a cupboard, or they are at the piano stuck with playing the same songs, the only one they can remember from their lessons since they were kids. Or, I think, lots of people have time and want to spend it on something better than just playing solitaire or something. Or
scrolling social media. This is such a great opportunity. Okay, so question, is it a pay subscription style or is it a pay per lesson style?
Pay per lesson style. And then you can buy bundles. And then we will have some more offerings very soon.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's an exciting time, and it's a very creative time, and stressful as well.
Yeah.
So we have big hopes for this. So it's a big thing to bring something like this into a space that is basically being born, because it was only 3 years ago or something that you were able to offer a service like this because of audio. Before COVID, no one would dream of teaching music online, but sound, audio, time, delays, all of these things are so much improved that it's hardly a problem anymore.
It's one of the perks, I think, of the situation. And it's so cool to see how you're taking it to not just provide the users with a lesson, but with a community. And that is such a beautiful story.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. Music connects people, and we want to make that happen.
All right, so we always let the guest say one thing that really matters. And I think you and I both agree that connectivity of music is the one thing. But what's the thing that you want the listener to walk away from this episode with?
Well, just reminding themselves how important music is and what it can do for you. You sometimes forget the importance of music in our lives. And then you put on a song and you remember. I think, I don't know if this is something that other people than me experience. Sometimes I forget to play music, or I forget to enjoy music, but music is such a good mood creator.
I say it all the time, like, this is supposed to be fun first.
Exactly.
Well, this is such a cool tool. I'm really excited for all the teachers and the students out there that are constantly like, oh, I've always wanted to learn how to do this, or I've always wanted to learn how to do that. And you've taken the guesswork out of finding your person. So Moombix, Moombix.com.
Yeah.
Fabulous. We will link everything in the episode notes. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you.
All right, friends, what do you think? Isn't it fun to think about the power of music and the community that you can build through it? I just think, like, every time I'm in one of these sessions and having a conversation with someone, I'm like, how cool is it that the thing that brought us together is music? And we're having all these conversations. And I don't know if you've noticed, but everybody has a different pathway into music. We all have similar pieces of our path, but we all have bridged our own path. And how cool is it to hear about Margrét's and Moombix and all the ways that it can help you? So in case no one has told you today, you, your path, your community, your music, wherever it is, it matters. We all know that music matters, especially this awesome new platform called Moombix, Moombix. And I'll see you next time on the Music Ed Matters podcast.